Every Hey everybody, welcome back to Listography. I'm here with Jason and Kramzer as always. We are to another year in our great countdown of our top 5 albums. And today we are on 1984, an exciting year. Lots of big albums coming out this year. I guess I could reveal some of them. I'm sure some of them will be on our lists. But you had, 1984, Van Halen, pretty big kind of, I don't know if it was a comeback, but it was sort of a shot in the arm, a new sound with all the synths. It is the 80s after all. You had Born in the USA from Bruce Springsteen, Like a Virgin from Madonna, Purple Rain from Prince, Unforgettable Fire from U2, just a ton of big kind of records. You had The Police breaking up, Aerosmith reuniting, Michael Jackson catching on fire, literally, during a Pepsi commercial. Spinal Tap came out, maybe the greatest music movie of all time, one of the greatest mockumentaries of all time. And Tipper Gore formed the Parents Music Resource Center because she didn't like the lyrics of Darling Nikki by Prince. And they would go on to harass rock stars for the next couple years.
Dee Snider in one corner and Tipper in the other.
That's right. They would go at it a bunch, and some other musicians. I guess the end result would be the creation of the parental advisory stickers that you still see on albums today. A couple other things. It was the second highest year for single sales in the UK ever after 1978. And the Jacksons kind of broke up, Michael Jackson, after one of the most successful tours of all time, the Victory Tour. Basically said he was leaving the band, to the surprise of the Jacksons themselves. He had already released Thriller, and he was basically the biggest musician in the world, and he did not need his brothers anymore. I think the most interesting thing about 1984 was that there was only 5 albums that topped the Billboard charts. That is the least amount ever in a year. And some big names. You had Thriller, Footloose soundtrack, Purple Rain, Born in the USA, and Sports by Huey Lewis and the News got in there for 1 week. Good for Huey, taking it for the little guy. And that's probably it for 1984. Ronald Reagan got reelected, I guess. So who wants to give us their list first? Jason, I believe it's your turn.
1984, a great year for music, and maybe even a better year for humans because it's the year I was born.
Please.
It's a pretty stacked year. The best of the 80s so far. One of those years where 6 through 10 is almost just as strong. Some of my just misses are The Top by The Cure, Reckoning by R.E.M., Learning to Crawl by Pretenders, A Pagan Place by The Waterboys, and Dreamtime by The Cult. But making my list is going to be the debut record from The Smiths. The Smiths also got Mirror Moves by Psychedelic Furs, Ocean Rain by Echo and the Bunnymen, and A Walk Across the Rooftops by the Blue Nile. But my number 1 is Heartbeat City by The Cars.
I called it.
Cram did call it before the cameras were rolling. This is a record I think generally thought of very positively by most people. It's got a lot of big hits on it that you still hear on the radio all the time. But I think of it on a whole nother level. I think it is one of the best sounding records ever recorded. Mutt Lange produced it. And when people talk about Mutt Lange, usually the first records that come up are Back in Black and the Def Leppard records he did. And I think people even, when talking about him, will mention Shania Twain before this record. But this record is a masterpiece of recording. There are very few records where the sounds jump out of the speakers the way they do on this record. Maybe it's because people, hear it in their car so often, or they hear them in the grocery store or wherever they may be. They forget how great they sound. I think this record is every bit as deserving of, sitting in a dark room with headphones as, Dark Side is. It's, I think, that good. Also, the songs are great. Just a lot of great pop songs, tons of hooks, great harmonies. A perfect pop record for me.
Yeah. I know my boy, Mr. Born in '84, Jason. I knew that was going to be his number one, but you shocked me with some of your runners-up. Didn't see Echo and the Bunnymen or Psychedelic Furs coming, or the Smiths. So very cool. Nice to see you finally starting to embrace the 80s a little bit as an 80s child. I'm much younger than you, so we won't be talking about the year of my birthday for a while. I agree that this has been the best year of the 80s so far. I think the year after 85 will also kind of compete for that moniker. My albums that I really, really like, you mentioned a lot that I couldn't get in my top 5. I've got The Top by The Cure, not making it. Ocean Rain by Echo and the Bunnymen, not making it. The Smiths, not making it. Treasure by Cocteau Twins, not making it. Heartbeat City, not making it. Love at First Sting by the Scorpions, not making it. Love that album. But runners-up are going to be Grace Under Pressure by Rush, Learning to Crawl by Pretenders, Unforgettable Fire by U2, and then a really strong, I'm confident this is the number 2, very close to winning, was Let It Be by The Replacements. But my favorite album of '84 is going to be Purple Rain. By this guy right here, Prince. Purple Rain, what a pop record, what a great record all around. It's just full of all of like this colorful passion. The whole album is just like this big like cosmic crossroads where sex and love and man and woman and emotions just kind of meet and blend and go all over the place. For such a monumental pop record with so many good hits on it, he's not playing it safe at all. It's got this really cool like hazy 80s noir feel to it. It's a real sexy album. It's really romantic. It's really has a lot of just the spectrum of emotion on it is great. It can be really delicate. It's really aggressive and angry at times. It sounds amazing. He's got probably, not widely, but often considered his best album because it's got that all-inclusive Prince sound with a fusion of blues and pop and jazz and a little bit of, funk and soul and it's really stylized and some really cool experimental choices, like When Doves Cry being such a huge hit and having no bass on it at all is just pretty cool and noteworthy. And the songs, are just really good. Purple Rain, the song, is one of the best vocal performances, I think, of all time. Each time he does the Purple Rain chorus, it gets more and more emotional and just you can hear him crying it out. I think I Would Die For You is one of my all-time favorite songs. I absolutely love that song. Take Me With You is great. And he's kind of become that iconic personality and like, I don't want to say diva, but he's got that vibe right off the beginning with the little intro to Let's Go Crazy. Just so much confident and ownership of his own art here. The personality on this album is just off the charts and the songs are great. There's not another pop album like it. I love Let It Be by The Replacements, but this one is just, I don't think I could live without Purple Rain. And speaking of purple, here's Joe.
Well, I'm not quite as purple as I was. The color on my computer is a little weird. Purple would be the appropriate color, though. But let's get to my almost made it. I got the Smiths, runners-up, didn't quite make it. Ride the Lightning by Metallica, Unforgettable Fire by U2, Power Slave by Iron Maiden, all just come in slightly below the bar. Very tough year. Even, I know everybody hates Goodbye Cruel World, Elvis Costello's 1984 effort, but I like it a lot. It didn't quite make it, but I think it's underrated. I like to say that now. But my 4 runners-up, I got Heartbeat City by The Cars, like Jason eloquently put it, just fantastic pop songs, comparable to their debut with just the amount of awesome pop melodies. I also got Grace Under Pressure by Rush, quite possibly my favorite Rush. I think it's probably their most consistently excellent all the way through. I have Defenders of the Faith by Judas Priest, a little metal in there. by my favorite Judas Priest album, and also from Van Halen, the aforementioned 1984. Love the keys. I know the purists weren't big on all the synth, but I love those Eddie Van Halen synth lines. But number one is very obvious. It's my favorite album of all time. It's the best pop album of all time. It's probably the best arena rock album of all time. Might be the best synth pop album of all time. It's obviously Purple Rain. From the intro, the spoken word with the organs, Prince just really just nails it. Everything on this album is pretty much perfect. I think it has the best opener and the best closer maybe on any album of all time. The synth pop of something like I Would Die For You, the funk of When Doves Cry, it just all works so well. It's like Prince was just like, you know what, I'm gonna make the best, most 80s, most arena rock album of all time, and he just did it. Like it probably wasn't even hard for him to do. He never really did it again, which is kind of, you know, for how popular and how big this album was and how well received, he basically just completely went away from everything he did on this album for the rest of his career, which is really, not unfortunate, because it really makes this one stand out kind of as a true testament to Prince's just greatness. Whatever he wanted to do, the guitar on this album is incredible. The bass, the synths, it was the first one credited to Prince and the Revolution. So we got a shout out to Lisa and Wendy on this. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a perfect album for me. I think the pinnacle of the 80s, pinnacle of a lot of music. And that's it. I mean, Kramzer spoke about it as well. Kind of upset that he stole most of my thunder again. That is the price you pay. So that's 1984. There's a lot of other good stuff probably didn't mention. I think more of that sort of like indie rock, that American REM college rock, the Replacements is definitely creeping in. You'll probably see a lot more of that in the years to come. But just a great year all around, from the big hits to the indie sensations. If you like the video, give us a like, leave your lists, your top fives in the comments, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we will see you again in 1985.